Hello everybody, Jared Volle here, one last time for this streak of videos. This is going to make the 7th video that I have put out today. And I wanted to do a personal video instead of doing a Q&A because I wanted to talk about the process and kind of what I'm going through as I'm making these videos as a way of not only just being seen by you, which is great, a great feeling for me, and then you guys get to learn, from my creative process and how I'm going. But also when we could just collaborate and create something new, right? And it's just creating another space in addition to the Q&As where something awesome could happen, right? And I'm not going to require any kind of outcome for the Q&A videos or for these personal video blogs. So I think I'm just going to make a set list or a set list using my comedy terminology, a playlist, and I'm just going to have videos like this one that people can easily ignore if they want to just go straight to the stand-up. But I think there's going to be a fair amount of self-reflection within this video blog or this playlist, and also like maybe the idea struck me while I was between videos that as I'm working on my own creative challenges, that I can also video blog on those and the specific problems that I'm facing within my the things that I'm doing as well. And so there's like just lots of interesting things that we can do with this channel. But I do want to take 1 second and just say that this day of doing this, I mean, this has been an hour, about an hour and a half of new videos are coming out, and that's not including, or if I include this one, probably about an hour and a half of videos, right? So that's an hour and a half of content that did not exist yesterday, right? And I'm under no disillusion that this is not the perfect the perfect answer for these questions. I definitely ramble sometimes and I go on tangents. Sometimes those tangents come back full circle and they make a great point. Sometimes they don't. But I want to take a moment and just say how awesome it is that this process is so different from the old me from several months ago that just had to figure it out, had to power through everything. If you look at the video, the video that I posted before my first Q&A, that video is why is point of view so important, right? I love that video, but that video took me like almost a week in order to figure out how to put it together because I'd never done anything like that before, right? So that was a week that it took me to create a 15-minute video, right? And maybe maybe that video is better on some respects, but I feel like the people that are going to be watching this Q&A are going to have a deeper connection with me, and that's going to positively reflect on creative stand-up. So just how awesome is that this rule, and I'm celebrating for me, but I'm asking and I'm inviting you to do this exact same thing, right? So I'm ecstatic that an hour and 15 to an hour and a half of new videos are on my channel now, right? That has been a burden for me for a long time. I've always felt like social media is just such a hassle, and I don't like updating my Facebook page or anything like that. My YouTube channel, the banner and stuff, I have no idea how to do those kind of things. That's just not been where I've been focusing. Anyway, so maybe that's something that we will do later on. But I want to draw your attention to that this is possible for you, right? There's nothing that I've done today that other than just be myself. So I took about a 45-minute break or so between the very last Q&A video and this video, and I just kind of thought about I was struck by the fact that I'm not tired, right? Like these videos could keep going, right? And I think I'll probably end up just putting out some more like tomorrow and the next day. I can see that happening. But also at the same time, there's a like a voice in my head that's trying to talk me down. Um, but it's saying that I need to schedule these. I need to schedule these YouTube videos to come out slowly, like maybe twice a week or something like that. And so now I can take a break for a month and not do this, right? But that idea just feels so heavy to me. This was so effortless, but the idea that I would now turn around and become afraid of this ability is just weird, right? And it's bizarre that that is like one of the first thoughts that comes to mind after like this celebration, right? I get done, I'm like, wow, this is an hour and a half or so, or videos or something. I think I changed the time like every. Oh, this is about 43 minutes of videos. This is about 6 hours of videos. Well, I changed the time as I'm going. Anyway, it's incredible that this has happened, but I think what's more incredible is that it could. There's no reason why it can't happen again, and there's no reason why it can't start happening for you right now, right? In whatever in stand-up comedy or in whatever pursuit you have, right? So circling back from that tangent, what did I do today? Right? I did not stress out at all. I did not think about what other people might think about this video, except for just saying that like my focus has been on, my idea of the person who's asking the question, right? So if I had to say what I did today, I would say that all I did was I took all the information that I already know, right? I took all the books that I've read and the experiences I've had on stage and all of that stuff, right? I took all that information and then I accepted questions from people about stand-up comedy. And all I've done today is kind of just be this matchmaker, right? So this question comes in and says, I have this problem with motivation. And I've just thought about, like I've read several books on motivation. I absolutely love the topic. And all I've really been doing is just like kind of matchmaking, right? And saying, okay, take what I know, take your question, put them together, and start caring about you instead of me, right? Because when I think about myself, I start to get stage fright. I start to worry. When I think about what you might think of this video, then that's a problem, right? But I'm coming from a place where that's okay, where I've already given up that need, right? So YouTube comments don't have any power over me right now, right? And I know there's going to be maybe the number of people that watch these videos is going to be super small, but I don't care. The comments are going to say like I need to be tighter with my whatever, and those don't matter anymore. And I'm still at a place where I think that's incredible, right? Because it was not long ago that I feel like a totally different person, right? I was the achiever me that had to get it right, right? And that person was so vulnerable, right? The I have to get it right person could never have done an hour and 15 minutes today. It would have been stressful. The smallest things that were not right would have put some brakes on the process, right? So I'll tell you about like the old achiever me. Here's exactly, and I'll use a very specific example. The shadow on the wall behind me. Those used to drive me crazy because I feel like it's a really like a low quality video if like you're standing in front of the wall and that's and then there's like weird shadows. I have spent a significant amount of time before videos trying to figure out how to minimize shadows, right? Were shadows important enough to put a halt on the things that I've been saying today, right? This tiny thing that used to be it was not a showstopper, but it would lead to something that would stop my creative process, right? Because this is not working right. Then I would grab a couple of other lamps and I would find a reason why the shadow was wrong, or now there's like weird shadows on my face, and I would find something that's wrong, And then I would spend like maybe 30, 45 minutes switching things around. Then I would get upset because I felt like all of my productive time was slipping away from me, right? And then by the time I'd solved the problem, assuming that I did not have another problem that I generated while I was solving this other one, I would be so upset with myself for letting so much time slip away that one of two things would happen. I would just be in like this rage almost, where I'm just completely angry with myself, right? And then at that point, I'm pretty useless, right? I talked a lot today about how your emotions are so important to motivation, like in the creative process. When I was that achiever person, I couldn't control enough things that I would get angry because the outcome wasn't like, became like impossible, right? And then if a couple of days pass like that in a row where I'm trying to get something out of me, but it's like I can't express myself creatively, then it becomes a significant problem, because then I just get really angry with myself, right? So it just kind of spirals down from there. But it's weird, like this, just what a stupid rule. Shadows on the wall, right? And right now I'm in this new office, and there's just stuff all around. I did look a little bit about the shadows, and I tried to minimize it, but then I just hit record. I could have done that at any point in the past, but I didn't. And I think that's I'm just trying to stay, or I am staying positive about it. It's incredible that is possible for today, and it was incredible all the days that I didn't see it, right? And a part of me wants to say, oh, it's so sad, right? Like, you could have just been doing this, right? And it wants to, like, I guess, like, that ego part of me wants to say, oh, yeah, you are bad. You shouldn't have done that. But I don't know, maybe I've just been meditating so much lately that I can't really get to that place where there's a problem with that. I just appreciate it, I guess. That's probably the best way that I could put it. Anyway, so I'm going to be using this this as a platform to just kind of get my thoughts out, sort of like this. This channel is going to evolve a lot. I intend to just keep maybe doubling down on. I don't want to use the doubling down, because that sounds like the old me. The old me always doubled down. You have to try harder, and then you will be successful at that thing. I have learned over this last couple of months that the me that doesn't need permission from anybody, but especially from myself, is pretty awesome, right? And for me, over these next several months, there's going to be so many more personal changes for me. Like, I feel like I'm still at the tip of this iceberg, but also this is going to show up in my creative work. I was hoping to get some other work done today, but these Q&As, these comedy Q&As, just kept calling me, and they were so interesting, and I enjoyed it so much that like I abandoned the plan that I woke up with, and that was just okay, right? I didn't need to do, just because I woke up thinking that I needed to do one thing, doesn't mean that that's exactly what I needed to do. And I'm appreciative, I guess, of the fact that this first Q&A went out, and I think only like one or two people watched it at first. And in fact, I know one person watched it because it was a new idea. So I didn't want to just post a video about somebody's email directly to me. So what I did is I wrote that person an email, and I said, here's a video response. It is not listed right now, but I would like to publicly post it. Can I post it? And the person did say yes, so I ended up posting it. So that was kind of how this Q&A started. And then a couple other people asked questions, and the same idea, the same thing happened. And I have not even publicized this yet. So the only way that you would know of this is because maybe you were currently subscribed, and it would have, I guess, automatically notified you. So I haven't actually publicized a single thing except for talking to the people that that were asking me the question. So I think that's awesome. That's something like that stepping stone, right? So I got an amazing email from somebody on my website just asking this question that was full of authenticity, and I knew I had to respond in a way that felt authentic to me. There's no reason why I would have suspected that this would become a Q&A like series, but I could totally see that now. For me, it just felt effortless to meet that person's authenticity with my own, right? If I had continued to try to do the same things the way I've been doing them in the past, then I would have written her like an email, and I would have tried to get that email worded correctly, and I would have lost a bunch of the my ability to speak and voice inflections and all that stuff as well, and it wouldn't have hit as hard, it wouldn't have worked as well for her, and it wouldn't have led to this as well. So saying yes to just that one small idea has led to where we are right now, which is this is video number 7. I guess I'm at about definitely at an hour and a half now. And this is just fun, and there's no reason why it can't just happen tomorrow, right? That doesn't mean it will, but like my ego is trying to say that you need to protect your stuff, or this is too much content, and you need to maybe like only give away the small ideas, but keep the good ones so that you can sell them. All of that is strategy, right? But I'm tired of the strategy. I'm tired of the like even of my own website. It doesn't reflect who I am anymore. It reflected me several months ago, where I wanted to get the strategy correct, or I wanted to say the right things in order to create the sale or whatever. But I don't know what the website's going to look like in the future. But I know that it's no longer aligned with who I am right now. And so I'm going to find a reason to just break the website, or break something on it, or change it completely, or maybe just take down the entire like sales pitch page or something and change it to something that feels right for me. And I don't know what that looks like yet, but all of that is kind of just coming from this. It all comes back to the very first video I made today, which, by the way, I think that is one reason why I've created so much today, is that I feel like I've kind of just like handed myself all the power, right? I just said, you have nothing, you have no weight to carry right now, right? You dropped the things that were weighing you down, right? And now that's why I feel like today it's just been like effortless, and it's been crazy, and I can't wait to wake up tomorrow and do something similar to what I did today. So thank you so much for watching this whole. This is just a personal video blog, so I'd be impressed if you got all the way here. But anyway, we're gonna create something amazing, and I really hope that you create the you that you really want, right? That maybe these silly videos and me saying, wow, I can't believe this is an hour and a half or whatever, maybe you come here for stand-up comedy training, but I'm hoping that you leave here with something way more, right? With hopefully this idea that maybe you've been living with too much structure, or you've been the same kind of achiever type that I was a couple months ago. I can't believe a couple months ago. When I was finishing up Playfully Inappropriate, I stayed up for 2.5 days straight. I had an ungodly amount of caffeine, and I just knew that I needed to finish it, right? And then after I finished it, my wife and I went and we watched the fireworks. And then I told her that I was not going to do this crazy crap anymore. Right? I'm not going to stay up all night long trying to achieve something. Right? And that was my promise to her. And so far, I've managed to keep it. I have had a couple late nights, but it's been a totally different thing. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is because that is also possible for you. Right? You need to give yourself the permission to be that person that you already are. And I don't know why it took me forever to get there. I do know that meditating has helped. Finding quiet time has helped, because my answer to every question was that I need to do something. So there was never any opportunity for me to actually analyze myself and think about myself, because that never felt productive. But now, like from where I'm at right now, it's hard to argue that that was productive, right? Like I was being productive in my mind because I understood the general direction that I was producing something in, right? Like I could point at it and I could say that's what I did, right? And it feels good to start a project and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to finish this. And it never felt good to sit and wait, right? Because it just did not feel right to just not be doing something. That just doesn't feel productive. Yet now that I am spending a lot of time with myself, these rules are just falling off, right? I'm starting to become aware of like weird rules that I have, right? Like when I did this, I'm like, I can't believe that used to be my rule, right? That used to really get under my skin. But I've become aware of like these really tiny things that I do as well, and I definitely credit doing a lot of meditation with those things. So I'm definitely going to continue doing it. I would invite you to do it as well. I have fun doing it. I fight with myself when I do it, but in the end, I find it hard to justify not doing it, tomorrow, because it's the quality of the work is getting so much better, and my emotions are getting more even, and I'm allowing myself to feel the feelings that I used to be afraid of, but now I'm just like, okay, this thing scares me. I'm gonna go into that thing and I'm just gonna stay there. That is possible. Not only possible, it's not bad at all. And then the bad thing is the run up to it is when you're thinking about, oh my God, I need to do this thing, and then you freak out for a while, and then once you do it, you've made it into this huge giant thing, and then now, since it's this huge project, you can fail, right? Or it can go badly because you took so much time in doing it. But if you just jump in and do it, if you jump in there and just like sit there, it's like your brain does not have time to figure out all the reasons why you should object, right? So it's instead like you're already doing it, and so your brain just goes, okay, this is why we should keep doing this. I'll finish on this. So this is just came up with when I was talking about that. And this is how I'll know if you finished the video, because this is a ways into the video already. There's a part of your brain called the right brain interpreter. I might be messing that up offhand. But basically its job is to kind of thread everything together into a narrative in your brain. It's why events in your life flow together. They're not just think about like a picture, like all the pictures are just random and you scatter them around, right? There's a part of your brain that creates this narrative, basically, like the story of you. And what is awesome and scary about it, about that part of your brain, is that it will find a way to interpret events in a way that makes it feel or seem like you are always in control. And the reason we know this is because if you have a split brain patient, so you take a patient and you you cut the connection between the right and the left hemispheres of the brain, right? So the right brain can no longer talk to the left brain can no longer talk to the right brain, right? They just have to work independently. And these people, they can draw like two different pictures at the same time because they don't get mixed up. Their right brain is unable to talk to their left brain, right? So they can literally just like write two different letters at the same time or whatever. So in the study, researchers would ask the person, so they like whisper into like their right ear or something, right? So like only half of their brain knew what was said, right? The other half, we know there's no way they could know why, right? So if you like whisper something into one side of the ear, and what they would do is they would whisper something like, I want you to stand up and walk across the room and then come back here, right? So the person would stand up and they would start walking across the room, like towards the door, right? And only half the brain knows why, right? The other half has no idea what's going on. But right when that person gets to the other half of the room, that side, and right before they hit the door, the researcher will go, "Hey, what are you doing? Where are you going?" Right? And the person will stop. And now the other side of the brain has to generate the response. But that side doesn't know why it's doing it. And instead of just saying, "I don't know," these people will look you dead in the eye and they say, "I need a Coke." That's crazy. That's ridiculous. These people honestly believed that the reason they got up and walked across the room was because they were thirsty. That had nothing to do with anything. But this part of the brain could not let go of power. It could not let go of the idea that it didn't know. That is absolutely crazy, right? So that's why I always think of it as like it's the scariest part of the brain, because everything has to go through it. Like your story, the story of you goes through that part of the brain. So is the story of you actually true? How much of it is just something that you've been interpreting a certain way? That's kind of like a mind-blown idea. And I might have to make another video on just the right brain interpreter, because this is what was going to be just a side note became like you feel that passion that came through. I just think it's incredible. And I think I'm going to actually go and I'm going to meditate on that idea right there. So everyone, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of this. If you made it this far through the video, congratulations. You learned something interesting about the brain. Keep the questions coming, and thank you so much. So I'm Jared Volle for CreativeStandup.com.